Hi, my name is Dan Schweikler, and I'm the Senior Analyst of Strategic Pricing for Johnson & Johnson. Tonight I'd like to talk to you about how a company like Johnson & Johnson uses strategic pricing to its advantage. Before we start, I'd like you to think back to the last time you were in a store and the last time you purchased something. What were the factors that led you to drive to purchase that particular product? Was price a factor? Was maybe the price of a complement or a substitute good a factor? Was the item on sale? Or maybe you knew exactly what you wanted, you walked in, got it off the shelf, paid for it, and left, and didn't even consider the price. These are all things that Johnson & Johnson we have to consider on an everyday basis when we're doing pricing strategy. Pricing is considered the forgotten P. I was recently in a business planning meeting where the marketing team was presenting their 4P business plan, and no joke, they actually only had 3 slides. One for placement, one for product, one for promotion, didn't even mention price in their 4P business plan. It's such a shame because pricing can drive millions of dollars of profit. I interviewed Mike Notifer, who's the Senior Director of Strategic Pricing for Johnson & Johnson. Over his 25-year career, all within a pricing-related field, he's seen at least 10 to 15 pricing actions that individually they each drove over $1 million of bottom line profit for the firm. So pricing can really drive millions of dollars of profit. When you're doing pricing strategy, there's 3 major things that you should consider. You need to consider brand strategy, you need to consider price elasticities, and you should also consider the selling process. So that's basically the agenda that I'd like to walk through tonight. There are 3 main rules of pricing. The first rule is that strategic pricing should always be driven by brand strategy. The second rule is that you should always consider price elasticities and other pricing metrics when making a pricing recommendation. And the last rule is that pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. So the first rule, pricing strategy should always be driven by brand strategy. As I was mentioning before, the marketing team owns the 4P business plan. This means they make all decisions around the 4 Ps, one of which being price. As a pricing professional, my job is not to make a decision around price, it's to make a recommendation that can help drive the marketing team's strategy forward. So I need to be fully aware of their business plan so that I can make a recommendation that's in alignment with the plan. So I'd like to walk through one just quick hypothetical example so we can talk about how pricing could be in alignment with a marketing goal. So for this particular product, we have this is a fact that we might have learned from the business plan. Our brand is the most efficacious brand in the category, and we need to communicate this to the consumer. So how can we communicate that with price? Well, in this example, we might investigate taking a price increase. If we can ensure that we're the highest priced product in the category, this will communicate value to the consumer. And there's research, a lot of research, one in particular from Dolvec, that suggests that high price communicates high value to the consumer. The second rule of pricing is that you should always consider price elasticities and other metrics when you're doing pricing strategy. If you've taken managerial economics or the intro economics course in your MBA program at Rider, you would have learned that price elasticity is defined as the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good to a change in its price. So for any given product at any given retailer, we can calculate what the elasticity is. Well, there are companies out there that do this and do this statistically. They will go out and actually calculate what the elasticities are, and they will provide us a tool that we can use to calculate to run pricing scenarios. So we might utilize this tool and say, let's take this product up by 5%, let's bring that product down by 10% and see what happens. Then it'll then run the statistical model and tell us what the financial results are. We can then tweak the scenario and until we get a scenario that's profitable for both us and the retailers. Now, I would say that pricing elasticities are the most important things we use, but there are tons of other things that we must consider. I have 2 examples that I'd like to walk through. The first one being thresholds. A price threshold is a psychological barrier that prevents a consumer from spending more than a certain amount for a certain good. Now, as an example might be, have you ever walked into a movie theater? And before you walked in, you said, I'm not spending more than $10 for this movie ticket. If you walked in and the price was $9.99, you're going to see the movie. If you walked in and the price was $10.02, you might actually walk out. In that example, you're not worried about the 3-cent difference, but ahead of time you drew a line in the sand and said, I'm not spending more than $10. That's an example of a price threshold. It's something we need to consider. Next is promotional strategies. When's the last time you purchased something just because it was on sale? We need to ensure that our products are on sale in new, innovative displays so that we can get your attention and get you to purchase them. The last rule of pricing is that all pricing decisions are at the sole discretion of the retailer. And what does that mean in layman's terms? Basically, that means that retailers don't need to follow our MSRPs. If retailers don't follow our strategy, and we put together this great strategy, but they don't follow it, neither us nor them will reap any of the benefits from the strategy. So there's consumer research that says that consumers will typically purchase from the retailer that offers the product at the cheapest price over time. Usually that's Walmart. And Walmart knows this research, and they will fight any price increase. So it's our job to get the sales organization involved to convince Walmart and other retailers what's in it for them. What metric will we be driving that will convince them that this is the right move for them? Will we be driving profit? Will we be driving units? Will we be driving consumers to the aisle? So tonight we talked about the 3 rules of pricing. Pricing should always be driven by brand strategy. You should always consider price elasticities and other metrics. And all pricing decisions are at the sole discretion of the retailer. So in summary, pricing is considered the forgotten P, but I hope for this group that after this talk, it will be the forgotten P no more. Thank you.